Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zero to Zero, a pointless football podcast for fans and non-fans alike. Where we pit someone who knows some football, that would be me, Fixxxer, against someone who knows absolutely nothing about football, that would be he, Tulkas.
Rejoice!
We are recording rather early this week than normal, aren't we?
Indeed we are, Fixxxer TV. Indeed we are.
We're recording on Tuesday. This is before any of the injury reports are terribly serious. So our choices could be quite affected by that later on.
They could.
They could, because we don't know who's injured.
I never know who's injured. People get injured? People get injured?
I know. Shocker.
That's not very sportsmanlike.
All right, so the scores from last week. I was 7-7 once again, and you were 8-6.
Giddy up! That's Diesel. That's because of Diesel, right?
No, Diesel. No, Diesel concurred with your choice.
And he concurred with my choice because it was right. So it was because of Diesel. Stop trying to undermine him. I won because of Diesel.
Well done, Diesel. You get all the credit.
Yay!
All right, this week, the byes. Buffalo, Cleveland, New England, Miami, New York Jets, and San Francisco are all on a bye. They are not playing this week.
That's fun.
Yeah, fun indeed.
Wait, what would happen? What would happen if there was an odd number of teams in the league?
I don't remember a time when there has been. That's something they avoid.
Oh, okay. What do you think is the most funniest country name in the world?
Finland.
Okay, for me, I mean the obvious choice is Uruguay for the you are gay comparisons, but I think that my choice has to be, wait for it, Equatorial Guinea. Get it, Fixxxer? Equatorial Guinea.
I like Finland.
I like Equatorial Guinea. So the Green Bay Packers versus the Seattle Seahawks at
Thursday
8:20.
evening. Yes, Thursday evening game.
Yeah, Seattle put up a good fight against the Rams. Their offense played great.
No. My notes, because I like to alter them when I feel.
I love my little pranks.
That's a prank.
Yeah, it's a prank.
Youngins and their pranks and memes. Oh my god.
Hey, it's that. You know how difficult it is to make a prank against Fixxxer? Like, you should have read the rules he made on pranking. Like, they can't take more than half an hour to clean up. There's no TNT. It was extremely restrictive.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, you do your thing and I'll find it.
All right. Green Bay Packers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle put up a good fight against the Rams last week. Their offense played great, but the defense just couldn't slow down the Rams' explosive offense. Packers beat the Dolphins 31-12, where Rodgers had an actual running game to help him out. At the time we record this, Rodgers is listed as questionable, but we know that ain't happening. So the Pack got to Osweiler last week and sacked him 6 times. Hard to do that versus Wilson. Wilson should have another good day. I think the Seahawks will win.
I don't know about that. I mean, so the Seahawks lost to the Browns last week.
No.
Last week. Wait, no? Who lost to the Browns?
Not the Seahawks.
The Browns were fighting some bird.
Yes, the Falcons.
The Falcons?
Yes, but that's later on.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, Seahawks, Falcons, they're similar things. You can forgive me for being confused. Well, I don't know. I think that Seahawks, the Packers are just going to be there's just going to be a giant ball of meat. And the Seahawks, they're going to try to fly around and peck at it, but you can't peck a ball of meat. It's a giant ball of meat. It's just going to, be like a wrecking ball, just, going through the Seahawks. They're like, woo, I'm a meat. I came in like a wrecking ball. I don't know any more words to that song, but if I did, it would be hilarious if I could sing them right then and there. Equatorial Guinea. We're not saying giddy up anymore. We're saying Equatorial Guinea.
And who did you pick out of all that?
I told you, the wrecking ball.
Which is?
The giant ball of meat that is packed by the Packers.
All right. Moving over to Sunday early afternoon, Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Well, the Titans pulled off an upset versus the Patriots, outscoring them 34-10. It's hard to figure this team out. I'm scared to pick against them. The Colts, they beat the Jags 29-26. Behind looks 285 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Their offensive line is playing quite well. I would have picked the Colts this week if it weren't for the Titans upsetting the Pats, and I'll still go with the Colts. I'm just nervous about it is all. Did I lose you?
Okay. So I reckon. Sorry, Fixxxer. I'm trying to be a good Hoosier and mute my microphone, but I'm not good at unmuting it. So the Titans, they're going to be like, boom, boom. But then the Colts are going to come like darting in. They're going to like zip between their feet. They're going to be like, the Titans is going to be like one. They're going to try to catch the Colts, but then they're going to trip and fall and bash their head on the rocks. So I'm going for the Colts. Also, I'm really surprised that the Colts beat the Jaguars.
Are you now?
Yeah, I would think that the Jaguars, Colts are prey animals and Jaguars are predators, but I guess the horses are faster than Jaguars, so maybe they just were on the managed to get into the.
Sometimes prey work better when they're in a herd, right? The weakest ones can get kind of weeded out, but sometimes the herd can fight back and protect its weakest.
Yeah, and I mean I think that happened in Indiana, if I recall correctly. So it's very flat, not a lot of ground for the Jaguars to sneak up. Yeah, I suppose it's not that surprising.
All right, moving on. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are just struggling to get back on track. They put up some points, I guess, but the defense keeps getting rocked. Meanwhile, the Steelers put up 52 points on the Panthers. Expect a similar performance here. Steelers will win.
Okay, so I reckon that my Steely boys are gonna win. I mean, do you want me to elaborate? I mean, I just don't think the Jaguars can bite. I think this is self-evident. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with life, liberty. No, that's wrong. Okay, never mind.
All right, moving on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New York Giants. The Giants were able to pull off a victory against the Niners on Monday night. Manning had just under 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, saving his job, at least for now. No Fitz magic this week, as they could only muster 3 points against the Skins. He still put up 400 yards, but he had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions and also a fumble. Just like the Titans, who the hell knows with this team? I can't really pick the Giants, though. I'm reluctantly going with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Well, my question is, do the Buccaneers have access to gunpowder?
Yes, they do. They have cannons.
They do. How do you know this?
Because in their stadium, they have a literal cannon.
Oh.
And they fire it.
Oh. I guess then the Buccaneers will win. Because, the Giants, they just get cannons in their heads.
There you go. You heard it here first. Tampa Bay wins. Okay. Next one. Houston Texans coming off the bye at the Washington Redskins. Skins had an excellent game versus the Bucs. They gave up 500 yards of offense that ended in just 3 points. It's the very definition of bend but don't break. The Texans are coming off their bye where they defeated the Broncos the week before. They'll have their hands full. I think they can do it. They got to protect Watson. If they can, Texans win. I'm going for it. Texans win all the way.
You said that we were going to have a Strange Lines event on the third Saturday of every month. I'm sad that didn't happen. But yeah, so, I'm thinking that... Well, originally, I was going to be in favor of the Redskins. The Texans, they probably just, lost the Civil War. That's right, Fixxxer, you lost the Civil War. How does that make you feel?
Whose Civil War?
Your Civil War. The Civil War the Texans lost.
Uh-huh.
Texas was part of the Confederacy, and they were all like, yo, but then we were like, no. No, okay, whatever. Well, they lost. Then I mean, all their troops are like, we have reconstruction going on. And they're going to get out on a campaign off to like Washington. I don't think so. So I was thinking that the Redskins were going to win, but then I realized that the Houston Texans, they may have lost the Civil War, but they have Watson, the great and glorious IBM supercomputer. So they're going to have Watson. I mean, Watson won at Jeopardy. So if Watson can win at Jeopardy, then Watson can win at life. So I say Texans win all the way.
Makes perfect sense. Great. Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. Last week I said the Lions were better than they seemed. And, well, they looked bad again. At some point this is no longer true and they're just bad. I don't think Cooter will be there much longer as the offensive coordinator. Maybe they'll keep him until the end of the season. I don't know. Unless he turns them completely around, I think his days are numbered. The Panthers of old returned, giving up lots of sacks, giving up 5 touchdowns in the air. At least Cam Newton wasn't their leading rusher again. They should win here, but don't count the Lions out completely. They'll upset some team down the line for sure. I just don't think it's this week. Panthers win.
Why did you never make the theme park fix it? You always went on and on about how you wanted the theme park, and our anniversary game, The Reign of the Time Age, just wasn't good enough.
I'll take things Fixxxer said 7 years ago for 100, Alex.
Okay. What did you say you would build? No. What did Fixxxer say he would build on the server, but then never built?
Tulkas' face. All right. Panthers at Lions.
No, that was not a question. You're disqualified from Jeopardy. I misunderstood the format. I am disappointed in you. But I think that Cooter has cuties. Get it? They're gonna like take Cooter and they're gonna like not keep him until the end of the season because he has cuties. Get it, Fixxxer?
I mean, you do definitely want to get rid of the cooties.
Well, I looked up. I looked up the Panther versus Lion matchup, and my dude on Quora was pretty inconclusive. My Quora boy. I have my Quora boys, so I'm going to make this this week's Diesel.
All right, Diesel, let us know what you think about Panthers at the Lions. Okay, moving on. Dallas Cowboys at the Atlanta Falcons. Well, it happened. Falcons got beat up by the Browns. They gave up 176 rushing yards to Chubb, and now they got to face Zeke. And Zeke put up 150 and a touchdown in their win over the Eagles last week. Dak had a decent game too. Their offensive line still gives up too many sacks. They got to clean that crap up. I've been saying that all year, and they still haven't done it. So which Falcons team are we going to see? Who the hell knows? I'll go with the Cowboys.
Good. So, yeah. I think that I thought that the Falcons would be sucked up by the Browns, but they were beat up by the Browns. So I'm confused. I still don't get the whole Brown thing. I've just been confused in that whole thing. But I don't know. But in theory, the Falcons will have brown in their feathers, like coat their feathers, and it'll be like oil. Like you know how when wildlife gets oil on it, like birds get oil, they can't fly because they have like the oil. So like maybe the oil is like black, but maybe if it got some dirt in it, it would be brown. So yeah, buddy boys, woo, Diesel team wins.
But that was last week's game. How about this week?
No, I'm saying that last week they fought the Browns.
Oh, you're saying they still have oil on them and it's going to cost them this game.
Like the oil spill happens, but then the wildlife has oil on it for the next weeks. I'm saying as a result of the loss to the Browns, they will lose to the Cowboys.
That's morbid. All right, Sunday afternoon, Oakland Raiders at the Arizona Cardinals. Oh boy, we got the bottom of the barrel here. The Cardinals had a respectable game against the Chiefs. As I said they could, I guess. They got Johnson going a bit, but still had a couple interceptions, which you can't do if you want to beat the Chiefs. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Raiders right now that hasn't already been made into a meme, so Cardinals win.
I'm upset because you had this whole court thing, and you were like, ooh, a court session is one case and should last 5 to 20 minutes. And there was a whole thing about how the jeb sheep on the roof of your courthouse would be the bailiff, but it never happened. I'm upset. But anyway, I believe that the Cardinals will triumph over the Raiders because the Raiders are going to try to raid. They're going to try to loot the material wealth of the Cardinals, but they will be unable to do so because the wealth will not be in a fungible form. Do you know what form it will be in, Fixxxer TV?
For the Cardinals, I'm going to have to go with hay and twigs.
No, it will not be in hay and twigs, and it will not be in a fungible form. It will be in the form of investment, because investing in today is the Indiana way. Investing in today and tomorrow. Spending smart is a great way to smart. Everybody wins when we all pitch in. Everybody wins when we all pitch in. Everybody wins when we all pitch in. Everybody wins. Because you gotta be right on the money. It makes good dollars and cents.
You got 2x here next to the chorus, but you sang it 4x. What's going on?
No, I said that part of the chorus times 2, and I'm saying this part.
You said it times 4, though.
I don't... Oh, okay. Well,
thanks for making the whole song awkward. It was going fine up until then.
Gotta be right on the money. It makes good dollars and cents. Public safety, education, transportation, and general government. That's from the Cardinals video last week, by the way. Fun fact.
So we're going with the Cardinals then.
Yeah. Remember the video? Fixxxer, you loved the video.
Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers had the courtesy of beating down the Raiders last week. Keep in mind, most of their wins have been against bad teams so far this year. Their only quality win was against the Seahawks, which is nothing to scoff at. Denver is off its bye after losing to Houston. Again, one of those teams where you never know what you're going to get. They had a week to prepare for this, so I'll give it to them. Broncos win.
Yeah, I think that the Chargers are going to do their charging thing with the Broncos. They're going to be all like bronking on the horses, and then they're going to leap off the horses onto the Chargers, then the saddle behind the people riding the Chargers, and then they're going to be like bonk, and then they're going to knock the Charger dude out of the saddle, and then the Broncos will be the Chargers. Woo-hoo!
Denver wins. Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints again Sunday afternoon game, late afternoon. Saints continue their tour of embarrassing the rest of the league by beating the Bengals 51-14. They just gobble up that clock and score at the end over and over and over. It's hard to overcome for any team. The Eagles, they lost to the Cowboys. It's not Wentz's fault. He's doing fine. They need that running game, though. Also, why in the hell would you go to trade for someone like Golden Tate for potentially just 8 games and then throw to him only 2 times? What the hell is that? That's stupid. Saints win in a blowout.
Yeah, so I looked up all the saints, so our boys the saints. We have Saint Augustine of Hippo, Saint Benedict of Sizkalka, Saint Bertolf, Saint Cuthbert of Lindisfarne.
How are these specific saints related to this game?
Fine. There were other saints, but Fixxxer won't let me tell you, viewers, so get mad at him. Well, some of them, let Eagles fan them, and some of them, were walking, doing saint stuff, and, they had, Eagles flying over them to keep them from the weather, and some just are associated with Eagles for reasons unknown. I'm not really sure. This random.
So you're saying there's traitors amongst the saints?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, why? Why would I say that?
You're saying that they used eagles to shelter them from the rain and help them out.
Yeah. So why does that make them a traitor?
Because they're friends with the eagles.
Yeah. I don't get it.
They're fighting the eagles. They're not supposed to be friends with them.
The point is that the god of eagles is my boy Ozale, Zeus, and Zeus is not a Christian person. So I think that the Eagles are going to side with my boy Zeus over the Saints, and so they're going to be all like caw, and the Saints are going to be like whoa, and then they'll lose.
Makes sense. Alrighty. Sunday evening game, the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. The black and blue matchup everyone wants to see. Trubisky and the Bears are playing quite well. He had 350 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the Lions, but their rushing game had just 54 yards. I don't think they'll be able to get that going versus the Vikings, who surrendered more than 60 yards to a back only one time this year. The Vikings, they're coming off their bye, and they'll be ready to take the division from the Bears. They'll be healthy, too, which is probably the biggest deal of this entire game. Diggs and Cook will be there. They'll prevent people from double-teaming Thielen. Whoever can get their running game going is going to win. I think it'll be the Vikings.
Yeah. I've actually found some interesting stuff out about our boys, the Vikings. Like the word used to refer to like an adventurer rather than like a raider. But then, like, eventually it became co-opted into a raider, except they weren't, like, everyone thinks of Vikings that's, like, super evil, but apparently they were, like, actually nicer than most raiders because they were more focused on taking money instead of, like, destroying life, limb, and property. So that's kind of cool. But,
yeah, I think Hollywood has given us a different view as to what Vikings are, and they have since, like what, the 30s?
Yeah, like there's this whole idea of like the Vikings having horns on their helmets, which is like the stupidest thing. You're fighting this dude with a horn on the helmet. You just grab the horn and throw him to the ground. That's so dumb. Why would you? The Vikings are going to win.
All right. Monday night, Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Rams, the matchup of the year. Both teams are 9-1, and this will be on Monday night. Big showtime. All right, the game was supposed to be in Mexico City, but the field conditions are so awful 1 week before the game that they canceled that, and they're moving the game over to Los Angeles. Bad news for the Rams. Kupp is out for the year. He has been one of Goff's favorite targets. All evidence points to this being a shootout. I think Mahomes has more weapons to work with, especially since Kupp is out. I think Kansas City will win.
Yeah, I mean, last week I thought that who did the Rams beat last week? Was it the Seahawks? It was probably the Seahawks. I thought that the Seahawks would be nimble enough to avoid the flying Rams, but no, the Rams, like Fixxxer said up top, he said the defense just couldn't slow down that Rams explosive offense, and that typical, what's the word I'm looking for? That trademark Fixxxer narrative voice. So I mean, if the Rams can like pulverize if they have an explosive offense against like the Seahawks, who should be able to dodge and mitigate such a thing, I mean the Chiefs, I mean it's nothing.
So definitely the Rams, eh?
Yeah, death, double D death.
All right, moving on to our featured game of the week. This is happening early afternoon on Sunday. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. We'll go over the team's names, how they got them, a little bit of the history of the team, all that jazz. We'll start with the Bengals. So the Bengals came into the league in 1967. A contest was held to name the team, and the Buckeyes won. But the owner wanted to pay homage to an older Cincinnati Bengals football team that existed in the late 30s. So Bengals it is. The name Bengals was done in honor of a rare Bengal tiger that the Cincinnati Zoo had on hand. It was an albino. Did you know that?
No. If I had a child, would he be its godfather?
No, I'm an atheist.
But like a serious black godfather.
Can I
like if I die, you become the child's legal guardian?
Yeah, but what does God have to do with that?
It's just a word.
Can the god be Cthulhu? Although Cthulhu technically isn't a god.
Okay,
that's one common misconception, Tulkas, is that everybody calls Cthulhu a god, and he is technically a great old one and a priest, and not a god.
No, Fixxxer TV.
So
no.
If I do take your child after you die, can I sacrifice him to Cthulhu?
Well, If I say yes, will you consent to be the Godfather?
Yes.
Okay, well...
All right, the deal is done. I get
like
your firstborn, and I get to sacrifice it.
I feel like if I sued for custody rights of this child, this video would be brought up in court. I'm just gonna stop.
All right. Anyways, where were we? Albino Bengal Tigers? Okay. The Ravens, they began in 1996 when the Cleveland Browns were moved by the hated Art Modell. He originally wanted to buy the Colts name so that the Baltimore Colts could be a thing again, but it didn't work out. The Ravens was chosen via fan poll and is named for Edgar Allan Poe. Other names from the poll that came close were the Americans and the Marauders. I don't know about that. Additionally, how many what?
Give your additionally thing.
Additionally, other names considered were the Railers, the Bulldogs, the Mustangs, and the Steamers. But he stuck with the Ravens. I like the Ravens better, I think.
I think your additionally in that sentence was redundant. But how many stanzas of...
How is it redundant?
Well, because you're like, oh, these are some other names.
I had to separate them, though. They were two different... Those names were sourced from two different places.
Yeah, but you don't cite your sources because you're an infidel.
I just said other names from the poll that came close were the Americans and the Marauders. However, he considered other names that were not in the poll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those names, those names were not in the polls.
How many stanzas off the Raven am I allowed to read?
1.
Okay. And the Raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes of all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming shows his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
Well done, well done. And you just had that handy, eh?
Equatorial Guinea.
All right, so on to the game. The Bengals, they got a wake-up call and their humbling loss to the Saints. The response was to hire Hugh Jackson as some sort of consultant to the head coach. Okay.
Hire Hugh Jackson. Hire Hugh Jackson. Hire Hugh Jackson. Hire Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, you said it 3 times.
It's fun.
He's now going to appear in your room.
Aw.
Anyways, Baltimore is off a bye, but before that they lost a close game with the Steelers. Bengals should bounce back and make this a good game, but I think the Ravens defense will keep them down. The Ravens will win.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that, they're Bengal Tigers. They
albino Bengal Tigers, we have learned.
Yeah, I don't know. The Saints beat the Bengals, and I really thought that the Bengals would beat the Saints. It doesn't make sense. Like, southern India is a Hindu region, so why would Catholicism have and India was colonized by English, so if they were going to be Christian, they would be Anglican, surely. So I'm not sure why Catholicism would even have, like, a foothold in that region. So, if they managed to lose to the Saints despite all that, then maybe the Ravens have a chance. What do you think, Fixxxer TV?
I think they do.
Oh. But this is like that time in a Monster Prom when you told me to say something to my boy Scott, but then it turned out to be the wrong thing. So I'm going to be like, yo, 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 mama. Yo, yo, ma, not mama. And say, Bengal. Going with Bengal.
You're going with the Bengals?
Yeah.
All right. You've chosen poorly.
Don't try to throw doubt on me. I'm wise to your ways. And I'm going to do the outro myself, because that's just how #rebel I am. I'm going to say, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and stay tuned for more next week and do all the viewer engagement stuff, and it's going to be beautiful. Bye, everyone.
Bye.